Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
Hello, greetings from Lake George, New York, where I'm sitting on the lake and
You are
feeling cooler than I generally should be.
Yes, you're very al fresco. Listen, he seriously is the dumbest man in the Senate, isn't he, Tommy Tuberville? Listening to these people opine about what is happening in Ukraine just makes my head explode. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought when you played that clip, I thought, man, they just go through these clips and said, what will make Malcolm the angriest?
What will make him the shoutiest?
This man, definitely that was one of them. This man is a moron. Okay, let's just all level the playing field here. And this is a guy who refers to himself as coach in the third person.
Yeah.
Right? So, which tells me the extent of his involvement in international geopolitics and war. None whatsoever. His ridiculous analogy that the Ukrainian army was a JV team playing a varsity team? No, it's not. It's like a university first-year football team playing an NFL team and winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Ukrainians are beating them senseless. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing, I have a new Substack coming out, which is going to give an analysis of the offensive so far, is what you're seeing the Ukrainian army push along the entire Russian line, and at some point, it's going to crack. We did this last year, but the secret of our magic success last September was 4 months of pushing along the Russian lines.
Yeah.
And so everyone expects to see this blitz that I took part in, right? The Kharkiv blitz. That didn't happen until we had months of pushing and losses the way that we're doing right now. When that line breaks, there will be no Russian army. There could be two massive blitzy counteroffensives coming. But how would Tommy Tuberville know?
I mean,
all right, he's a master of dunking Gatorade on people. What a effing idiot.
I mean, here's the thing. You must have acid flashbacks to all of your previous books when, we just did the story a couple days ago about how, intelligence analysts are saying Putin is counting on Trump to win again so that he will just give him Ukraine. That is part of his war plan.
Run right out and buy Plot to Destroy Democracy. It's actually now my best-selling book, and it literally outlines how he planned all of this for 2016. And then it worked again in some ways in 2020. It is important for Russia to have Donald Trump and the now completely radicalized pro-Moscow Republican Party on his side. Because what's the fastest way to defeat Ukraine? Turn off the ammunition coming from the United States. Change the entire administration. Withdraw the United States from NATO. He tried to do that, by the way. That was his plan. He actually told the president of Sweden he wanted to withdraw the United States from NATO. He is going to come through like a drunken monkey with a machine gun and mass murder every good thing Joe Biden did and attempt to hand Ukraine to Russia. Putin is counting on this.
And speaking of acid flashbacks to 2016 and everything you wrote, I mean, if RFK Jr. isn't the Jill Stein, it's the same movie, just change the characters' names. I don't know if you saw his tweet recently or what his statement about that. It's something that just didn't happen. It was like Russia, agreed to pull back to pre-invasion lines if Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. And it was just something absolutely that didn't happen. That was just propaganda.
Oh, my God. Look, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the Tulsi Gabbard of Jill Stein.
Exactly.
Yes. All right?
Of Susan Sarandon.
There's an entire pantheon of crazy people who have all been recruited by Republicans. Hey, Democratic Party, hire me, okay, and I will come through and start vetting candidates on what they are and what they're going to do. Everyone knew that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's been recruited by Roger Stone and Steve.
Yes, all the same characters in your first book.
They're all there. The Kremlin crew is what we called them in Plot to Hack America.
Yeah.
They are all there. They have brought this character out who has disgraced his own family, disgraced his family's name, been rejected by his own kids. One of his son fought in the International Legion in Ukraine and disavowed his own father.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is nothing but a bugaboo that has been put in to split up Democrats. And I know some Democrats who have already said that, he believed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Then again, these were insane anti-vaxxers that I had stopped speaking to.
Yep.
Okay, because this man also believes that the vaccine, Wuhan virus, COVID, was a weapon that was developed that wouldn't infect Chinese and Jews. He's a racist. He's a divisive figure who has been put in to supposedly be the alternative to Joe Biden. I'm super supporting Joe Biden now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'm telling you. There are no other candidates.
Let me just see how this all ties together. Because Senator Tuberville is, of course, stopping all, is hurting our military readiness because of the anti-choice nonsense. And as you always shouted us about voting, and look at Ohio. You retweeted someone that said, just got a text from a college friend in Ohio who has never voted, but said she and a group of her friends just voted in Ohio's special election, and they all voted no on issue 1. This is what Republicans are scared of. Gen Zers are fired up and turning out and will save Ohio, as they did by, 30 points yesterday.
That's Victor Shi. That's a young guy. If you aren't following him on Twitter,
he's on the show all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's the voice of Gen Z, and that guy's got a handle on it.
Yeah.
He was not joking. But expect the Republicans now to go after colleges, because he said at Ohio State University they had 98% turnout in favor
and urban
of
areas
rejecting the referendum.
They're going to do everything they can to suppress the vote.
They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat because they can't win on any policies. And Ohio is now a bellwether. Ohio was always it used to be a purple state, was a blue state at one point. Then now it's going bright red, and to the point where the legislature can't do, you can't do anything if you're not a Republican in that state. But now look what happens when the measure is abortion. This is going to push over into 2024, and they're terrified.
Yep. As we were saying, Rachel Bitecofer said, they destroyed Roe, and now Roe is going to destroy Republicans. And it is in state after state.
Yeah. I want popcorn chairs. I want to be in the chair for that one, because they wholly deserve to be destroyed. They don't represent anything. They're not a political party. They are a chaos agency. They're a weapons crew designed to destroy the American Republic.
Yeah. So, Malcolm, obviously, we certainly have the feel that justice is coming between, everything that's happening. And it looks like Georgia now is going to be next week. But, we have J6 indictments. I don't know if you just saw that. It's hard to know what's a bigger smoking gun. You're like, another one that they wrote all this down, this memo that we just found, the New York Times scoop, that they wrote it all down. Yeah. This illegal coup.
You can't have a conspiracy without a PLAN. And these people are not the brightest tools in the shed. So someone, and I've been saying this for some time, there will have to be documentation. The contemporaneous notes that people took, whether it was on phone calls, with quintuple exclamation points, "We will take back America," had to have been written down somewhere. It doesn't have to be reassembled by this special counsel. But now I want to call attention to my latest Substack, because I heard Von Hilliard yesterday on MSNBC, or was this morning on MSNBC, talk about going to Trump rallies, and they're now openly using the phrase Civil War. Yeah. Openly using it. Yeah. And so these people have become more virulent. They're smaller, but they are definitely talking more dangerously. And my last Substack was about Donald Trump's threats. How the idiot, Scott Adams from Dilbert, essentially came right out and said that, we won't be able to stay, we'll be citizens, common citizens with people anymore. We are standing into danger. Yeah. Von Hilliard today made a statement that I've been making ever since I wrote They Want to Kill Americans. And that is, there will be a precipitating event, and that these people are looking for an opportunity to do that. And I don't think it's going to come at Trump's conviction. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a, Meal Team 6 gravy spoons rescue squad of big fat guys and, in khakis who are going to run out and try to rescue Donald Trump from the Secret Service. But there will be a precipitating event, and it will not be pretty. And justice will have to be defended. It is,
they were saying this on the Donald, this right-wing whack website where all the terrorism chatter before J6 was.
It's called Patriots. .org, .com right now.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, they're saying there's open threats to, Jack Smith and the grand jury, death threats to, obviously, Fawny Willis, you name it. I mean, so it definitely is a time to be vigilant, but I would say not to, what did Glenn Kirschner say? We can't be afraid to do the right thing because of how the wrong people will react. So we have to be vigilant and yet not afraid of the bullies, because that's the point of terrorism, right?
Absolutely. And what we are talking about is terrorism now. All right. Now it's orbiting back into my little world. There's no distinction here between domestic and foreign terrorists in the U.S. intelligence community. We just designate them by their nation, American terrorists or, state-sponsored terrorists. But we are talking about people who are plotting terrorism. And I wouldn't be surprised if over the next few months, as this story progresses, the FBI starts rolling up terrorist plots to make a point.
Yeah.
And the point is, you can't go around and threaten judges. You can't go around. I mean, even with Donald Trump himself personally went after Fani Willis the other day, went after Judge Chutkan personally.
Yeah.
Any normal judge would have hauled him in court. You can't go with mob bosses threatening you and your witnesses. You have to make an example of them. Yeah. And I have some spare rolls of duct tape. Okay, wants to impose a gag order,
and also
but it has to be done.
Speaking of justice, now I don't know if Alabama riverboats fall under the Navy, because I know you're a Navy man, but the Bama beatdown. I'm just saying, the 3 white guys have been arrested.
I never laughed so hard at the video of the Bama beatdown, which was dubbed over like a WWE.
Yes.
Show, the one with the reference to Black Aquaman and the Wakanda Warriors.
I don't know if you know this, but when my show is on Sirius XM, there is a picture of Stephanie Mills. And yesterday, Stephanie Mills tweeted about this and said she's going to do a charity concert. And I said, I sent it to Frangela, and I'm like, there is somehow our worlds have collided. We need to be at this concert. We need to be part of this show with Stephanie Mills for the Bama beatdown.
Go watch that video with the WWE, with the WWE, because one, it puts it into a better perspective, because it explains how these guys came out and they started beating that security guard who threw his hat up in the air as some sort of bat signal.
Yeah.
And, had a 6-on-1 on him, including the women. And then, as they describe it, the Nation of Domination and the Wakanda Warriors all showed up. My favorite line is when they go up to him on the boat and they're trying to talk to him, and the one guy goes, "I'm the captain now."
All right. Love you, Malcolm Nance. See you next week.
Republicans say they won't cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. But can honest, hard-working middle-class Americans really believe what these politicians say? Republicans said they wouldn't overturn Roe v. Wade. Here's what Supreme Court Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett said during their Senate confirmation hearings.
Roe v. Wade is a precedent of the United States Supreme Court. A good judge will consider it as precedent of the United States Supreme Court.
Roe v. Wade. It's settled as a precedent of the Supreme Court.
Roe is not a super precedent, but that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled.
Well, we saw how that turned out. They played us for fools. Tell your elected officials to keep their hands off of our Social Security and health care benefits. Fool me once. Let Majority Rule was responsible for this message. LetMajorityRule.org is a project of the Marvin Lucas Super PAC, which is responsible for and paid for this ad and is not affiliated with or authorized by any political campaign or candidate or candidates committee.